Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely, where we carry the largest selection of wood flowers in the United States. Welcome back to another tutorial. This one's gonna be fun. We're gonna experiment, we're gonna play, and like I say all the time, I don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna try and find out together. So today we are going to do a little bit of experimenting with some dip dyeing. I have a vision in my head, and that vision is to create a kind of satin metallic kind of finish on the flowers to almost look like a satin or ribbon rose. And the reason why I want to try to create that finish on the flower is we are going to work with Clara today, or Clara bow. I always think of Clara bow when I say her name's Clara, this flower. We have her in 4 different sizes, and she definitely looks like a ribbon rose. So here's the 1.5 inch, here is the 2.5 inch, and the 3 inch. And then we also do have an extra large Clara as well. So this particular style of flower is a little bit different than almost any of our other roses in that if you look at the way that it's constructed, the Sola wood is like long strips that are then carefully folded over to create the petals over and over and over again. So it's definitely got that vibe of a ribbon rose if you've ever seen one of those. So I want to mimic that, but using the wood flowers and then trying to create a sheen to the finish. So to do that, I have a couple ideas and thoughts. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I have a color story in mind, and it's very kind of soft princess forest vibes, I guess is what it looks like in my head. I'm also thinking rhinestones or pearls mixed into this, and we're going to do a full, like just flowers, which is also terrifying to me. Y'all know how much I like greenery when it comes to a finished piece. It kind of helps hide imperfections and stuff. There's no hiding in this one. It's gonna be only flowers for the arrangement. But with this, I'm gonna use, this is Anita's all-purpose craft paint, and it is their metallics line. So this pink one is metallic stone. So it's a really, really soft pink, but with that, I'm going to add some mica powder to the mix with the water and probably glycerin, because I'm gonna use probably a little bit heavier on the paint side. So I'm also gonna throw in a bunch of this, and this is just pink mica powder. I got a big batch of mica powder a while ago on Amazon. I don't have the link to that anymore, unfortunately. And the green color is pearl green. Now, the other thing I wanna do is, oof, come here. If the paint isn't metallic-y enough or sheen enough, I'm also going to grab my airbrush, and I'm going to grab this liquid watercolor by Dick Blick. It's the metallic pearl. I'm gonna do a coating of the pearl on top of the color to give it some more sheen. Then the other thing I wanna try also with my airbrush is I have some metallic alcohol inks. And I think I'm either gonna use the color copper or rose gold. So it's just these little, here's a gold one, but it's just the metallic alcohol inks. Well, this says just for epoxy resin. I might need to research that just slightly. I wanna make sure I can run it through the, I wanna make sure I can run it through the airbrush first. So if I can, we'll probably do a couple of those too after we do the dip dyeing. And then to top everything else off, if we're still not getting the metallic kind of vibe that we want, once the flowers are completely dry, I have this watercolor. It's Honey Watercolors, natural and fresh. They're handmade in Germany, but like, gosh, you gotta see these. These are just, they're magical is all I'm gonna say. But we might do like a little bit of detail work with those just to get a little bit more of that like magical glimmery kind of vibe going on there. So it's going to be lots of testing out things, waiting, letting things dry. And then, like I said, I have some pearls in different sizes that we might add to the flowers for little details. I also, way back when, before I got to see Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour, like eons ago now at this point. It was in June of, well, it wasn't this summer, it was last summer, 2023. Still going strong. But anyway, on to the story. I had big visions of blinging out my own outfit. And so I had bought a ridiculous amount of rhinestones, as one crafty ADHD kind of person does. I have all of these rhinestones now. Granted, most of them are in black, but I do have a bunch of white kind of clear rhinestones, and we might use those instead. Yeah, so that's the plan. Sparkles, sparkles, sparkles galore, playing around with Clara Rose. I'm very excited about this. So meet me back here. I'm gonna get my water and paint and stuff prepped, and we'll do a little bit of dip dyeing and see what happens. I'm excited. The first thing I want to do is run a tester through. First reactions with the mica powder, this is definitely a lot thicker. It's almost like when you add like when you're baking, you know, when you have flour and the liquid ingredients and it kind of starts to get a little bit thicker. So I want to test out, if I don't have enough paint, I'm kind of out of luck. I emptied the entire bottle, but I think I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Yeah. So this is really thick in terms of getting the paint off. So I am going to add some more water to this one, just because it's covering, but it's also, I don't want it to be like caked on, you know, because it's hard to actually get the excess off. So I am gonna add a little bit more water to this one. I also added into the mix of the paint, I grabbed this liquid watercolor. What color is this? It's a pastel rose, because I felt like I needed to add just a little bump of pink to that, but the mica powder also really took that over. So there's the pink. I am gonna add, my fingers are looking nice and shimmery, so I think it's gonna give me the sheen that I want. Ooh, it's like I've got highlighter on now. Fun, okay. And I'm using poinsettia flowers as my tester, because if this works, I'm totally going to be doing this with some of my poinsettias. Oh, this is pretty. Okay, I don't think I got to add any more. This gives me the color I was kind of going for. It's definitely a little bit more of a, like a lime green, but it's still wet, obviously. We'll see how it dries, but there's definitely a sheen going on. So if we can get it to look kind of like a satin ribbon, I will be very happy. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more water to my pink mix, and then we're gonna dip dye a bunch of these flowers. I did break them all out. Hold on. Let me talk to you and not talk to my hands. So 1 second. I didn't want it to like zoom right into my face. Okay, so the plan of action. I've broken down all of the flowers that I have. We're going to do all solid colors. We're not gonna be mixing and matching. We have some other videos on how to do like multiple colors on one flower and things like that. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do 4 of the 1.5 inch, I'm gonna do 4 of the 2.5 inch, and I will do 2 each of the 3 inch flowers in the light green color, the light pink color, and then I set aside the other one for the airbrushing experiment. I still need to research if I can use that particular ink. If not, we're just gonna probably use the white metallic pearl. I might throw in another color to that to try to like make my own custom color as I'm like staring at my color wall, possibly. We'll see. So yeah, that is the game plan. Let's dip dye a whole bunch of fingers. I'm gonna dip dye with my fingers. You can wear gloves too. I always forget to tell people, you can wear gloves. I just don't like gloves. And I'm okay with looking like that I'm a vampire, because I'm gonna sparkle. Is this the skin of a killer, Bella? All right, I'll be back. You wanna constantly be mixing with this kind of stuff though too, so it doesn't settle. I am really liking how these are coming out. A fun thing I'm noticing though, that the green one right now, as it hasn't dried yet, but it definitely has a lot of sparkle still to it. So bravo, Anita's, if this is how it turns out. And it's very similar. I don't know if the mica powder needed to be added. Oh, I just found like a little, one thing about these, I just noticed there was like a big drippage. You want to go through and make sure you don't have any pooling, because then it'll turn a different, like it'll look like a big drop of something because it's gonna dry a little bit different. So I'm going through this one in particular and rubbing out that color. But I mean, right now, doesn't it? It looks like a satin ribbon rose. I'm really happy with these so far. So the color story I'm thinking, because we've got this lovely like light green, light pink. If I dye the flowers, I think what I'm gonna do, I am gonna dip dye some flowers. I'm gonna dip dye them a light tan color. And then I'm gonna go, okay, change of plans. I'm gonna add this liquid watercolor to my craft acrylic paint first. We'll see how much shimmer comes from that. If it's not enough, then we will try doing a dusting of it with the airbrush. That way then, if we can get shimmer without having to use an airbrush, those who don't have airbrushes would be very happy about that, I think. So, all right, let's give this a try. I will be right back. I gotta prep the paint, and I'm not gonna wash my hands till the end. We'll see how kind of glimmery, shimmery they get by the end. Okay, I didn't film it because I didn't think it was going to get that complicated, but it did. So let's break down how I created the color that we're going to use for the rest of the flowers. I grabbed, this is from Apple Barrel, Warm Buff, and then I wanted it just slightly darker, so I grabbed from Deco Art Americana the color Espresso. I'm working late because I'm a singer. Sorry. And then I added that liquid watercolor in that metallic pearl. It gave some shimmer, but not as much as I wanted. So I went back to my lovely wall of colors, and I did find the pearl metallic from Anita's in the color Pearl Lace. So I added a bunch of that. And then I was like, well, let's just teeny tiny amount of the mica powder in the pink. Not a ton, because I was afraid it was going to change the color. And this is where we're at. Yeah, that's the color that we're at. And then I did like little testers on a white lid. There's shimmer in there. Is it going to show on the flowers? I don't know. I really don't know. So, let's dip dye them. See what happens. We'll let them all dry, and then we'll decide if we need to add just a little bit more of a shimmer on top to see if it bumps it up a bit. And if not, we can start working on the arrangement. I might be procrastinating on that part because I'm a little nervous. Not gonna lie. All right, let's dip dye the flowers. I think it's too thick. It's feeling too thick, so I'm gonna add some more water to this. I took the flowers out to the backyard to dry because you can really, when the sun hits it just right, the shimmer just shows up. Of course, like, I don't know if the camera will ever, oh. This one's a good one. Let's see if I can get it just right in the sun. There's so much shimmer happening. I'm very excited to see how these actually, this one I think is my favorite of the pink ones. Let's get into this one a little bit. Oh, it's just so pretty. You're gonna have to just trust me on this in person. It's not overbearing, but it's like the perfect little bit of shimmer. Okay, I'm gonna let these dry. The wind might blow some of them away, hopefully not. I've kind of have them protected a little bit on here, but I'm hoping it'll dry them a little bit quicker so that we can play with them sooner. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I originally, remember I said no filler. I lied. I can't. So here are our flowers. We are gonna I'm gonna attempt, I don't know, I might have just made this harder on myself for the filler that I just picked out, but here are our flowers. So this is a fun color story. And the 2.5-inch and the 3-inch flowers, I put pearls in, and then the 1.5-inch ones, I put some gemstone, like rhinestones in there. So they have like a little bit of glitter to them, but they don't have the pearly bits, but they're still gonna give like a little bit of shimmer and sparkle. I'm really, really happy with how the flowers turned out. They look like silk roses to me. They've got a little bit of a sheen, a little bit of a shine, a little satin to them. Oh, I'm just loving this color story. So the filler that we're gonna play with, I also have a pack of twinkle lights. I'm debating if I'm gonna wanna do those or not. I have some dried filler that I grabbed from my garden that I've been like just waiting for the right project. This is I don't know, I don't think I can make a fully like tight round bouquet because this is not gonna do that. But it's going to play so pretty with that color story that I have to do it. And the other thing I have is a string of pearls. So these are made with the Sola wood. They're wrapped around tiny little like styrofoam balls of some sort or something like that. But I thought that would be really fun too. We've kind of got this like, it almost gives me a winter vibes to it. And then this vase is going to be helping us keep our shape. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. It's not cheating. It's not cheating. You're working smarter, not harder, right? So I'm gonna use this as a way to kind of create my roundness. And we'll see how that goes. Okay. Let's see how that goes. Woo. We're gonna see if the zip tie is enough to pull this out. It might not be. So as I'm pulling this out of here, you can kind of see what happens. The wires themselves start going crisscross applesauce, back and forth, which is what we want in order to make more of a rounded bouquet. The other thing I have is some are above, some are below. These are all adjustable, so you can kind of keep playing with it until you're happy with it. And I'm going to, on the edges, kind of bring my wires in a little. So I have less of a, I guess I would say less of a umbrella kind of look where everything is like flat across. I'm going to tilt some of my wires so that the flowers themselves are kind of rounding out the piece. And I'm holding it pretty tight when I'm doing this. I'm also going to, oh no, we're gonna keep that right there. Flip-flop things a little bit every once in a while. I feel it's necessary. It's not a true perfectly round, but I really am liking this. It's a fun shape. Plus, I think the dried filler potentially is like not sage or some sort of herb. I don't know. I have so many weird things growing, not weird, but like things in my garden. I don't even know what's growing in there anymore. But I just thought that filler was so pretty in this like silver kind of gray color that I was like, I need to have some of that for some point. And this is the point that I needed it for, apparently. Get nice and tight. Okay. And you can still adjust at this point too, bringing things up and down. I like the look of this like, the like curve happening. The thing with the string of pearls, some of them are falling off of here. I will say though, my string of pearls, I've had these for years. So that might be part of the floral tape is starting to give way possibly. But with these, they're wired up. So it's really nice that you can adjust these a little bit too so that they can do what you want. Now, I do feel it's a little heavy on this side and not a lot on this side for my sage that I've got going, or whatever this filler is. So I'm going to just add a couple kind of poking through. We've got enough going on, and this is really nice and tight that I don't anticipate it like flying out or coming out. So I'm just gonna slide those in. If you wanted to though, you could take and wire these up to a wire using some floral tape or a little bit of vinyl tape and attaching the dried filler itself to a wire and then having a longer stem. I'm not going to for this, but it is absolutely something you could do. So right now I'm just gonna finish filling this up. I think for I did not use the twinkle lights. If I did use the twinkle lights, I'd put my battery pack somewhere like in the back of my bouquet so that I could turn it on and off really easily. I think to finish this though, what I'm gonna do after I finish putting in my little bits of filler is we'll just wrap a ribbon right around the base to finish this. So let's do that. And then I think we're done. Here we have it. I didn't intentionally want like a winter frosted kind of, but pastel bouquet, but that's what happened. This is like, it's like a frozen bouquet. It's a, oop, this one I don't like. Move back a little bit, flower. It's like all of the flowers had just been like, there we go, frosted over with just a little dusting, a little kiss of ice or something. Oh my gosh, so pretty. I really got a kick out of this one. This was a lot of fun to play around with some art supplies that I haven't played with recently, just to kind of create that. So again, the flower that was featured in this lovely bouquet, this is Clara. Definitely gives you that vibe of a ribbon rose. And I think now with that metallic sheen, it looks even more like a ribbon rose, but they're not. They're made from wood. How cool is that? If you have any questions, just drop them down below. I'll answer those as soon as possible. If you are loving this channel, can't get enough, want to know the next time we post a video, that kind of was English, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell to find out about the 150 style Sola wood flowers, craft supplies, and greenery. Go on over to ohyourlovely.com, but before you do, let me give you something. Use the code YouTube30 to get 30% off one regular priced order. That would include Clara and the string of pearls and greenery and everything else we have over there, as long as it's not marked down at the time that you're looking at it. You can use that code. All right, you guys, I will see you next week for another tutorial. I'm Stephanie from Oh You're Lovely. You, my friends, absolutely lovely. Bye, guys.